I see you got a little black cat steampunk going.
Yes, your daughter made this for me.
Yes, she did. Oh, I
She's
love
so talented, and I love this.
Thank you.
And this is kind of on the verge of funky for me.
Yeah, it is. A little edgy.
But I needed it because I got a funny story to tell you.
Oh, I can't wait.
So I've been thinking, I'm really trying to be intentional with every ounce of my life, including my wardrobe. So I developed my style, and I refer to it as, I call it Republican meets rock and roll with a little porn star thrown in.
Oh, I like it.
I know. I think it perfectly suits me. So
this
is what happened, though. I went way too Republican for a little bit. in my last podcast, I looked like Shannon Bream.
Little conservative.
I looked like I was
A
like you were
newscaster?
tuning in to Fox News.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in.
Well, and because of this hairdo, I have to be really careful that it doesn't turn into like a soccer mom bob, and it's a little girl. I know. You see how I just totally destroyed my whole entire look?
That's no.
I went from like fun, sassy, short hair to it kind of grew out. And then if I wear a jacket, I need to wear like a funky shirt underneath it to rock and roll it. And I didn't rock and roll with the t-shirt. And then I put on the sport coat, and then I had this hairdo, and I was like, thank you for tuning in to Fox News. This is Shannon Bream.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Could be a side gig. You
I
never
watched it and I was like, oh gosh, that's really not what I was going for.
know. Oh, funny.
So
It works.
as I was getting ready tonight,
Yeah.
I was like, and it's night because we're going on a date.
Yeah.
I was like, I need some funky jewelry.
I
so
like
your
it.
daughter to the rescue.
Yes. She rescues me a lot, actually, when I want funky stuff, because I don't have to think about it. It's like, funky. Got it.
So that did a little bit better.
I like it.
Thanks.
I like it. Yeah. I forget how cool her stuff is because I don't see it
Oh my God.
all the time.
I absolutely love it.
You know?
Totally love it.
Me too.
And I'm into this key. Do you remember when the key thing was like
Yes,
super
big,
like
cool.
big? Yeah, like the Tiffany key. I have that. It's kind of all tarnished now because I haven't dug it out of my jewelry box for like 8 years. But it kind of reminds me of that. Except
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a little edge to it.
Yeah.
I like it. Reminds me of you. Edgy and fun.
And I'm I was excited about getting ready for our date.
You were? I
Yeah.
didn't get ready. I taught yoga for 8 hours before I came
God,
in.
I know. Are you sure you want to go on a date?
Of course, with you? Shut up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, geez,
Yeah.
like, that's a long date.
No, as long as I don't have to talk about inner spiral or outer spiral or draw your butt flesh down, I'm good.
If you start telling me those things, we have totally crossed the line.
We're porn star. We went full porn star. Yoga or porn star? You pick.
Let's just go out to dinner.
Yeah.
And we don't have to take our clothes off.
No, God, no. People would leave the restaurant if I took my clothes off.
Oh, yeah.
They'd run.
Oh, shoot. And Scarlet's coming with us.
I know. I'm
She's
so
gonna meet us, and
excited.
She's excited too.
Oh, I'm excited. I haven't seen her since, God, months.
Yeah, since March, since our open house down here. She's excited because she loves you.
Oh, I love her too.
And she kind of loves me right now, too, which is very cool.
She does?
She does. This week, she stayed home. She played hooky.
Okay.
Okay, she played hooky. Doesn't
That's a
happen.
big deal.
Never doesn't happen ever,
Yeah,
right? I
no.
mean, she's not going with Casey and I to like wherever we choose exotically for my 50th birthday. She doesn't want to go because she doesn't want to miss school.
Okay.
So, which is, I mean, that's a great problem to have, right?
Yeah.
But she can be such perfectionist and rule follower to a fault.
Yeah.
Right? Like where she can't let go of things. And so this week I traveled last weekend to write, which was great. But then when I got back, Casey left and then it was just her and I time and she wanted to sleep with me.
Oh, that's a big deal because she's 15 now.
Exactly. And we're realizing that all the healing that our family is doing from my recovery is we're just starting to feel this like wave of beautiful engagement with one another that it could bring me to tears.
Oh, I love that.
It's
I love
unbelievable.
That. Yeah.
Everybody's doing all this work and she's part of it, but it's not like we're putting the burden of work on her, right? But she can just feel it. And I didn't even recognize what it was at first. She wanted to sleep with me and I was like, oh my God, that like makes me so happy. Yes, you can sleep with me.
Yeah.
So she slept with me and she woke up in the morning and we have to get up at 5:30 because she's got jazz early. She has to be there at 6:30.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I just traveled all yesterday. My brain was tired from writing. I was like, I don't want to get up.
Yeah.
And she goes, can we just stay home then? I was like, are you serious? You'll stay home? And she's like, oh, totally. And so she stayed home with me. I canceled a meeting.
Nice.
I just rescheduled it for the next day.
Yeah.
And she went back to sleep until like 9. I worked a little bit until she got up. And then we went and had lunch. And then we went to a movie.
Perfect.
And then we came home. I fell asleep. Yeah. Took a nap, which I don't ever really do anymore.
Perfect.
Took a nap while she did all her assignments in the afternoon. And then we went out to dinner.
Nice. See, it just was, you know what happens when you heal? Love takes over.
Totally.
You know what I mean? There is no agenda.
Yeah.
There's just this outpouring of relationship.
And it's so like she doesn't have to, like she's gotten past the stage of thinking, is the ball going to drop? Like, is something going to happen? Is mom, like, because I would quit drinking for long periods of time. It wasn't really until the last couple of years that it was really, really a bad situation. So I would have stopped drinking before. And I feel like she's not thinking it, but subconsciously it's in her nervous system. Like, is something going to go wrong and she's going to drink again? And she's past that. And she said it the other day. She's like, I don't even feel like you ever drank. But then we went to bed that night. She was up with me again. And we woke up the next morning.
She's like, let's play hooky again.
And she goes, can we just do one more day? And I was like, you can stay home another day. I can't just miss a whole entire another day of work. Like that. I can't do that. But we'll do something together for sure. And we're laying there and I just started busting out laughing. And I'm like, and I'm not going to say no to you because this is so good for you to have like scruffy boundaries. Like it's okay to just like mess things up a little bit.
Especially
Break the
for
rules.
her.
Totally. It's critical that she breaks the rules. And she says this to me. She's laying there and she goes, dude, we are so lucky that we're not like 20-year-old roommates. We would both be unemployed.
She's kind of right.
I'm like, I think we might be.
Yeah.
So I called Casey and he was like, fuck, she's totally right. You guys would be unemployed. Like,
I love the fact that she has got to the point where she trusts you.
Totally.
Which is exactly what that shows me, right? Is her wanting to stay with you, her wanting to stay home from school to spend time with you. She has crossed over to, I trust my mom.
Totally.
And that's really powerful. That doesn't happen until she sees you do the work.
Completely. And then you bring Casey into the equation because he's doing lots of work.
Yeah.
Really work on his own. That has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
But when I stripped away a good portion of this narrative that I was living that wasn't authentic, it wasn't really me, there was parts of that I had been living since the time him and I met 25 years ago, 31 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So when that's the part of me that was there 31 years ago and then it's not, it made him go, well, then who am I? Because if I don't have to come to her rescue, he's like, right, I'm the scapegoat. He is the hero. Yeah. Right? It's why we worked together all those years. And then all of a sudden it's like, he doesn't have to save me anymore at all. Like in any way. I'm good.
Freed up a lot of time for him.
And he's like, well, then what do I do with myself?
That's the time.
I no longer have a purpose. And so he's had to do his own work of figuring out, okay, I don't need to save everybody to have self-worth. And he's learning how to like show affection and I won't tell his story.
No, but
there's pieces that I'm just so proud of him for doing the work. And I mean that genuinely proud of him, not condescending. Like he's doing the work and it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
And most people are not willing to do it. And he's doing it. And that affection that he's now showing to Scarlet, which he just wasn't showed affection. And so he doesn't know how to show affection. And now he's showing that to Scarlet. And she in turn is like, just blossoming into this like, man, can I sleep with you? Can I snuggle? Yeah. It transferred like him giving her affection into her all of a sudden then giving me affection. It's unbelievable.
That's powerful. That is powerful in the deep sense of the word because Scarlet, her first initial years were not necessarily formative.
Oh gosh, no. I mean, and she wouldn't trust anyone because when you came out of someone's womb and then they abandoned you, your amygdala is never the same. It's like she has absolutely zero ability to trust. It's ingrained in her reptilian brain. As sad as that is.
No, it's
and
true.
She knows that. Yeah. Like we are very open about it and work on it. But for her to be able to develop this new level of trust is just, Jen, like it's just
what the cool thing
phenomenal.
That I see about that is it's going to also shape her relationship with her partners.
Completely. And I had never, this is one of those things where you start peeling back the layers. Yeah. And that was something that I never saw. And even though as her mom, I know that, right? I know that she would not trust. Yeah. And then I know that drinking caused her to not trust me. But it's like I never really thought to the next level of that's going to then in turn determine who Scarlet ends up with.
Absolutely.
And does she need to save someone like her dad always had to save me, right? Or does she not trust the person and never has a fully rich, completely authentic relationship?
Yeah.
It's a game changer. Like our whole family is in this just beautiful.
Yeah, you're like in a bubble of sweetness.
Yeah, I feel like we went down this downward spiral. I used to always use that analogy with people in their fitness. Like they had to get so bad somewhere that then they were like, okay, now I got to start digging my way back up.
Yeah.
And it took going there.
Yeah.
And that's what our family is doing. It's like we're just working our way. We like back up the toilet bowl.
Yeah. And I mean, at some level, you know, you have to live in the mud. You have to get in the mud. And the downward spiral takes you right to the mud.
Quick.
Quick.
Alcohol will do that.
Yeah.
We all agree we wouldn't trade my alcohol problem because it required urgency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you had to fix it.
Or it was going to be catastrophic for everybody involved. So we almost feel like it was a blessing, as crazy as that is.
No, it totally
because
is.
we wouldn't have gotten to this beautiful place of all this discovery we're doing within ourselves and newly with each other had I not had that problem.
Yeah, and it goes back to, you know, everybody wants to make a change. You know, I wonder perhaps how happy people are. I always wonder that. Like, where is your happiness, you know? And many people look to someone else for their happiness, or look to work makes them happy, but it doesn't. Or this relationship is finally going to make me happy. And, you know, when you get tired of shoveling your own shit is when you pull yourself out of the mud.
Yep.
And then you start to climb out, and then you realize like, oh, I'm my happiness. And if I'm not happy, my partner can't make me happy.
Completely.
They'll try if they're sweet. Casey's literally the sweetest person.
He is.
Ever.
Yep.
And so he would have done anything to make you happy. And yet, until you became happy in yourself, which is what you did, now he can be like, oh, I don't know what my happiness is yet.
That's what happened. It required him then to go inside and go, well, gosh, if I'm not her saving grace, if I'm not the hero, and not just with me, but like within my whole family, right?
Yep.
He's the hero always in life. And that's what he's only been able to identify himself as. Yeah. And he only could find some peace and happiness if he was saving something.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense why he's so good at his job.
Oh, for
right?
sure.
I mean, there's blessings in that. But within his family, it's like, oh, gosh, well, that's not who I get to be anymore. Now who am I? And he was like, he had read something in, I don't remember if it might have been in the Daily Stoic, where it was like, you know, Warren Buffett lives in just the house he grew up in or whatever it is, something, you know, like from the 1950s. And I can't remember who else it was referring to, just, maybe it was Elon Musk, lives very modestly. And it was like, if you had to take everything away, and that includes everybody, what would it be that would make you happy? And that's an unbelievably scary question.
Yeah.
Because it can't involve anybody else. It can't involve money. It can't involve your career. It's like, what truly makes you happy? Yeah.
You know, the interesting thing in Tantra, what I study is like, you were born happy. That's what we believe, right? You were born, we say, of original tenderness. So you were given, like, that was your birthright, is to be happy and content. And we just forget. You forget that that's your birthright. And then you start searching for all these things. And I love that you as a unit, as a family unit, are doing this work, because the gift of that is when Scarlet has her relationship, or when Scarlet gets married, if she does, or when Scarlet has her own kids, she will have this amazing understanding that she herself is happy.
100%.
She does not need someone to come in and save her and make her happy. And so it's like, that is, to me, that's the gift of parenting. That's your ultimate gift for her, because she now gets to be like, yeah, I'm good. And she is legit the most confident kid I've ever met.
Yeah, she's
very confident.
Yeah, she is.
And she's confident because she feels secure, and all those things are always been in place for her.
She's
with
felt
you
safe
and Casey.
Yes.
Yeah, she has that. But the thing that is awesome is at the age she is, at 15, when you really feel like crap at 15, because you have hormones and you got zits and you got all
totally.
the things, right? You're just, it's kind of a ugly duckling stage for most girls.
Yep.
But for her, she feels so good inside. That she doesn't have that ugly duckling stage.
No, she really doesn't.
You know, and she's so confident, and she feels like she belongs now. Where before, like you said, she might have been afraid, like what was going to happen. Because I'm a daughter of, an alcoholic. And I can tell you, I would know how my dad would shut the door. I'm like,
totally.
Okay. So that level of hyper vigilance for her is no longer there. And that is, my God, I would have given anything to have that opportunity. To not have to go through years of therapy to realize
all these years later where you have to dig through that for yourself. I know. I'm proud of our family. I'm not afraid to say that. It's like I'm really proud of our family for digging through really muddy, mucky foundation to really build something new for ourselves. And we've done it after we could be very comfortable just in our life, right?
Totally.
Like nothing was catastrophically wrong.
No.
Right? But it's like, but it wasn't gloriously right either.
Well, the searching would have still happened. And the thing that happens when you don't look or pay attention to your life is you keep going down the downward spiral. There is no end to the downward spiral. That's that's the really sobering thing about it, right? There's no end. It just keeps going. So when you think, okay, this is the bottom, I've hit the bottom, like life goes, nah, no, we're good. We got more
further to go.
Yeah. And you keep going down until you recognize, okay, I need, this is not okay. And I think, man, you guys did that during a tumultuous time. And how cool that you took the responsibility. There's this great book. It's called Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. And
I love Jocko.
Yeah. And it's called Extreme Ownership. And he talks a lot about how people don't take ownership. They might go, sorry, my bad, which is my biggest pet peeve when people go, my bad. I'm like, oh my God. But nobody goes, it's my fault. It's my fault. And I think it's really impressive to stand in the ownership of your own life, which is what you did.
Well, thank you. And I don't think you can completely heal until everybody is willing to say that.
For sure.
That it was my fault. And I can't believe this came up. I didn't plan on us even just talking about this. I didn't plan to talk about anything, actually. But the chapter I just went away and wrote in my book is about stepping away and no longer living the narrative that was started for you before you had a say in who you wanted to become.
Yeah, totally.
Right? Started by the world, by mostly your family. And it was a really hard chapter for me because there's this fine line of blame.
Oh, yeah.
And playing a victim and accountability and healing.
Yep.
Right? It's not a blame because blaming just makes you the victim and not complete ownership in your life. Right? But if you are willing to say, I completely take ownership of the hurt I've caused, what I've caused, not just to your kids, any part of your life.
Yeah.
And even as adults, to be able to go back and look at your childhood and say, I'm handing that back to the person who was responsible for it.
Totally.
Your alcoholic dad. I'm handing that back to you. Yeah. I'm not going to own this. I'm not going to be this character that you helped create.
Yep.
I'm stepping away from that person.
Yep.
And I'm now, but you can't do that fully until there's accountability.
Yeah.
And full ownership. And if that person won't own it, then I really don't believe the relationship is salvageable.
No. And you
can learn to forgive them.
Well, yeah.
Because that's for you.
That's for you.
You can't mend the relationship without full ownership on their part.
No. And it's interesting. I am a anti-forgiveness kind of gal. Truthfully, I just think it's sometimes you forgive people so they feel better.
I wrote exactly that.
And it makes me aggravated.
Because that's just forgiving in words, right? To make them feel better.
Right. Well, when you say to somebody, I forgive you for whatever, and in therapy, I was told a lot, like, you need to forgive your parents. You need to, no, I don't. No, what I need to do is forgive myself for attaching the narrative of my life to what they felt I was. So I need to forgive myself for that.
Yep.
Because I lived under that shadow for a really long time of, I'm the daughter of an alcoholic. I probably will be in, all these things. And it's like, no, I'm good. actually. And just because I was birthed into this situation
of which you had no control.
No. No. And so then it's like, what do I do with myself now? Now I make different choices. Now I can go, oh no, I'm going to own my own life, instead of going, I'm a victim of a traumatic childhood. I'm a victim of, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And the victimization of our country right now, along with the victimization of what we're all doing to ourselves, is bullshit at the highest level.
Oh, I know.
Because nobody is taking ownership of anything. And, I think about my kids at NIC. So, for those who don't live here, NIC is a dumpster fire right now, our college here in town, and legit dumpster fire. But the kids are like, oh, it's so hard to go to school here. No, it isn't. Take the narrative and just go to school. Just go to school. Teachers, remove the narrative and be a teacher.
Oh, I know.
Stop it. Right?
I know.
It's the same thing. You could have said, oh, poor me, my upbringing, my family.
I've raised myself, all these things, which are true.
Absolutely true. Not to take away from it. But you had to own, okay, I'm now a mom. I'm a wife.
I'm destroying myself and my daughter and my husband and countless other lives.
Yes. Yeah. And that's not easy, because the culture will award you for victimizing yourself. They are not going to award you for finding yourself. They're not.
No, and our culture rewards people for relying on alcohol as an escape.
Absolutely.
It really does.
Relying on anything as an escape.
Yeah. It's like, okay, you get to eat your feelings away right now because fat is now healthy, supposedly. Right?
Yeah.
Drinking all the time is just to be expected, right? How else would you unwind from a long day?
Well, how did you cope with COVID?
Yeah, it's like,
I mean, AA meetings are full because people literally shut down and just drank all day.
Oh, yeah.
During lockdown, literally drank all day because none of us could comprehend what was happening. So we had to do something. And it's interesting to me that even during that tumultuous time, like you took ownership of your family and was like, we are not doing this.
No. And I tried to do it on my own for long enough. And then I realized, you know what? I'm lying to myself. I can't do this on my own.
Yeah.
Which I still haven't recorded a whole podcast. And I realized I'm getting lots of questions because you and I have talked about my whole journey, but I haven't actually explained the whole thing from start to finish. So I'm going to sit down and do that because I think it's important too, because I have a lot to say, but it's an overwhelming topic to just try to just start on my own and then really do it justice. But I am going to record a story just so everybody can hear, like, here's really how it started. Because some people are like, well, were you really drinking that much? If you've been able to stop drinking, it must not have been that hard. Right? I know, you got to love that one.
That's
right?
great.
Or I don't want to be around her anymore because she's probably uptight and is judging me for drinking too much. I'm like, none of which are true.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do on my whole entire life. And no, I'm not judging anybody else that still drinks. It's like, none of those things are true. So I don't have to, but I actually want to. And I feel like it is my responsibility to share my story because I was just out and about at a plant store the other day and a woman came up to me and knew who I was. She listens to my podcast and has been in some of my programs and shared with me that her son had just gone to rehab. And this is just in a plant store. I had no idea who's ever listening, but it's a lot of people. And so my story can help people. So that's why I'm willing to share it because I feel like I actually have a responsibility to do that. Yeah. Because back to what's happening in society right now with not taking personal accountability, I think part of the problem is also that everybody's getting really tired of being told what to do.
Absolutely.
And we need to hear more stories and less instructions and rules and dictating to us what we should and should not do. It's why I think my book is so timely. Like, I believe in timing.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
I couldn't have written it 2 years ago when I said I was going to. It needed to happen now. And as I'm writing it, and I'm thick in it.
Yeah.
I'm thick in it. I'm like, this is exactly what the world needs. They don't need someone to give them some how-tos or rules or tips on this or that and cleaning up their life. They need to hear stories to realize they're not alone and to help people go, my book is a conversation.
Yeah. It's like a dialogue.
Yeah. It's a conversation with the reader to say, you know what? I don't know the answers, but here's what I've done. and hopefully you can take pieces of it and it's going to help you too.
Yeah.
We need more of that.
Absolutely. And I think, I see people hurting, and not knowing how to get out of that. Because what happens, we've talked about this before, where self-care is, I'm going to have a glass of wine and take a bath. Okay, well, you can't have a bottle of wine and take a bath. Your life is not going to change when you get out of the bathtub. There isn't some miracle that happens, right? So to me, that is just hiding. And so many people are hiding their mental dysfunction that happened over time.
And when you said dysfunction too, that makes me, it brings to mind what I've been thinking is that we are normalizing dysfunction at a level in everything.
In everything. Yeah.
Anything anybody wants to do, we're just normalizing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's why people are big. Why do they have size 20 models at Kmart or Target or where the hell ever?
I just went on to Gap the other day.
Painful.
I don't shop really. And I was looking for a spring jacket for Scarlet, and I don't shop. So I was like, well, the Gap would be a good place. What the fuck is happening?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that actually may have been what made me think about us normalizing dysfunction. And I'm not saying that they needed to do what they did in the 80s and 90s when you and I were growing up. No. And it was like these rail thin Kate Moss, smoking her cigarettes and barfing all day long. It was like, that's not what we're aiming for.
No.
But to say, well, people that are heavy need to see what they would look like in those clothes too. No, that's not what we're doing.
No. And we
are like glamorizing and saying it's completely normal for you not to take care of yourself.
Yeah. Well, and if you look at, I go to Target for cat food basically. And so I have to walk past first of all, everything in there is Little House on the Prairie outfits. What? I don't understand that. Have you been to Target lately?
No, I don't go to Target. Okay. I'm being serious when I don't shop. I haven't been to Target for like 3 years.
Did you watch Little House on the Prairie when you were young? Okay. Yeah. You remember I
used to play it.
Of course.
In my
we
backyard.
All did, right?
I had a little playhouse that was wood.
Ingalls. Yeah, absolutely.
In a wood pile.
And so the dresses that they wore on Little House on the Prairie are the dresses in Target right now.
Why?
And I don't know what's happening, but I'm very concerned about the fact that we're taking people and covering them from neck to foot in these Little House on the Prairie dresses
that go to Target.
Look like, an umbrella. They literally look like an umbrella because they're, ridiculous. And why are they popular? Because you can hide everything. A. B, are you kidding me right now?
Are pedophiles creating?
Yes.
I'm serious because why do you want to look like you're Laura from
12?
Yeah.
Yeah. Horrible. And I think,
oh, that's creepy. I'm going to go.
Yeah, you need to. So there's two things that are happening. We have either crop tops and booty shorts, because that's popular right now, or Laura Ingalls attire is popular right now. Neither one are appropriate for any body type. Neither one. And I went to a yoga clothing store, and I go in and I wear like a size 8, right? This is generally a popular size.
Right.
Nothing below the size 14 in this very popular, expensive yoga clothing store that sounds like Blemin. And I literally stood there and I was like, what is happening? And so I asked the girl and I say, what's going on? And she said, we just want to cater to lifestyle clothing. I'm like, what? And she said, everybody wears yoga pants now. I'm like, because they don't fit in their jeans anymore.
Right.
It's not because this is when I get home, I cannot take these yoga pants off fast enough. I really can't. I can't stand to be in them. It's like a weak man strangling me all freaking day.
Well, and I'll tell you what, and I think I caught some flack from this and people thought I was kind of bitchy about it, but I'm not going to apologize about it because I would tell stay-at-home moms that would come to our gym, if you really want my help with your nutrition and to get healthy, you have got to stop wearing yoga pants everywhere you go.
Correct.
Because you are lying to yourself.
Yep.
People are like, oh, quit picking apart what people are wearing and stuff. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about the fashion statement you're making.
Yeah.
If you want to have a reality check, try to wear jeans.
Mm-hmm.
If you wear yoga pants every day, you don't have any idea what is happening.
No.
I know when I gained 40 pounds when I was drinking, I fucking wore yoga pants everywhere I went.
Well,
I don't wear yoga pants anymore.
Well, I can wear a size, I really can. I can wear a size 6 yoga pants or I can wear a size 12 yoga pants. They will literally look the same.
Oh, totally.
They will totally look the same. So I always tell people that I talk to, put your jeans on twice a week. Yeah. Put a pair of jeans on twice a week. Your favorite pair. That is sobering. And it's not because I want to make you feel bad but you know,
well, maybe you need to feel bad.
Maybe.
I'm kind of, I just got done reading The Coddling of the American Mind.
Oh God, that's so good.
Did you read that book? Oh, I'm so glad you fucking read
good.
That. That was like, anybody is listening, you absolutely have to read that book. And I don't care if you're a parent or not a parent.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to read that book because it gives such a non-emotional, non-judgmental, factual explanation about what happened when all of a sudden all we are concerned with is people's feelings.
Correct.
Because I'm like, how did this happen? And honestly, arrogantly, I was always just like, well, fuck all those people. I don't care. My daughter's not being raised like that. Why do I give a shit? Well, that's dumb. Very, very
in the world it's hard right now.
It's like, okay, well, she's going to have to live in this world and so do you. And for like us, unfortunately, these people are going to be making major policy decisions for us because that affects policy. That's where we're at. These people are now working for Twitter because they're now in their 30s. Yeah. This is why everybody is operating based on feelings. You can't. For one, that's not even good for your psyche.
No.
It'll cause you to be depressed.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
That's what we're normalizing.
Depression is normal right now.
Depression is a complete, like we're just normalizing dysfunction.
Well, and here's an interesting thing. So my kids at the college have to do journal entries, right? And I read every one of them, respond to every one of them. And I have hundreds of students. So we will say 127 students, 125. Every week, 100 of them, and I am not joking, 100 of them say, this was really hard for me to write. My mental health is not good. Every one. 100 of the 125 students. And I will write back to them, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? Because if you spend time with somebody who's literally mentally disturbed, that is not our population right now.
No, it's not. But that's how we're labeling it. I know. We're seeing it everywhere. Scarlet sees it with her friends as well. It's like, well, I'm having mental health issues. It's like, no, those aren't mental health issues. Those are like called life. Yeah. But the unfortunate thing, and I'm not blaming these kids whatsoever. No, because that doesn't do any good. And I lived there for a while and it was like, just because you couldn't help but be so pissed at everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
And then like when Scarlet can't go to this music camp, right?
Right. Oh,
in
that
Boston.
It's
just heartbreaking. I mean, are you kidding me? She's enrolled in this college and she can't go because she's not vaccinated. But then I kind of was glad.
15.
At 15, and which leads us to our next discussion. But anyway, I used to be just angry. Yeah. And now I'm not angry. No. But I'm like, okay, well, that's not going to solve the problem. What are we going to do? But it's pretty overwhelming. What are we going to do? Because this isn't just a small number of people. No. This is the mass population.
Absolutely.
Is operating at high levels of emotion over any sort of thinking.
Yep. Well, it's one of the things we talk about in meditation. You meditate to remove your emotion from yourself. So it's okay to be happy. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be pissed off. It's not okay to live there. And we've given people the go to live in emotional hell because then they're a victim. Now we control them. And that's literally what's happening. So
And we're controlling
Yeah.
the safety, where safetyism, which again, read this book. I cannot stress that enough. You have to read this book.
Well, we're crippling our
Coddling
children.
of the American Mind by Jonathan Haidt and what's his name? Jeff Lake. Is it Gregory Lakin, something like that. But anyway, it's not hard to find. You need to read it.
It's literally called The Coddling of America.
It's one you could actually listen to. Casey's listening to it. He's more of an audio guy. I read. But it's one you could listen to because it's really just kind of factual stuff. It's not something that you're missing part of the story by not reading it.
Well, the other thing is, we're crippling our children. Mm-hmm. Some people's children right now will live with them for the rest of their life.
I know.
The rest of their life. No, thank you. Mm-mm.
Well, and I think people need to remember that all of the things they are trying to, in their attempt, let me rephrase that, in their attempt to protect their kids from everything, they are actually making their kids more fragile and more vulnerable.
Well, they're scared.
Completely. So anything, you are actually weakening your child by not allowing them to experience things. Yep. So I get it. We all get it, right? Anybody that's a parent and you're normal, you're like, I want to protect my kid from things. But every time you give into that temptation to completely manufacture their world and spare them any kind of heartache or danger, right? You are ultimately exposing them to more heartache and danger.
Yeah. I mean,
because they don't know how to manage it.
No. And imagine, kids are coming to school. People, unless you have teenagers, you do not know this. And I mean it. You really don't know it. If a boy is in love with Scarlet and Scarlet does not want to spend time with him, she will say, I don't want to spend time with you. Mm-hmm. And she has to be afraid he's going to come shoot the school because his feelings are hurt and he doesn't know how to deal with it. So he's mad and he plays combat warrior or whatever the hell it's called all day. Mm-hmm. And he has a warped sense of reality in that I'm going to go and I'm going to show that she should like me. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's not okay.
Well, and the lack of that book blew my mind on is that this whole entire generation, this iGen or Gen Z, did not develop any ability for conflict resolution.
No.
And that has policy implications to the point of like it dismantles democracy.
Absolutely.
Because they have to turn to a third party. This all it literally blew my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have to turn to a third party to solve a problem that is hurting their feelings or making them, quote, feel unsafe.
Yeah.
So who are they turning to? How we responded as a nation and as a world to COVID now makes perfect sense to me.
Well, absolutely.
We had to turn to a third party authority to solve the problem because nobody knows how to conflict resolve.
Well, the other thing that happens is you don't have executive function. You literally cannot work your way through.
No.
You can't, I have very strong executive function. If there's a problem, I will figure it out.
God, I
will
know.
get
I
around
love that about you. Yeah, when we do our conference and stuff, everybody knows, like, fucking ask Jen. Yeah. Because she'll get that shit done.
I will. I have incredible executive function. However, most people don't.
No, I know.
Most people don't. And that came from my warped childhood, right? I had to become the executive of the family. Mm-hmm. So I can figure shit out with no problem.
Me too.
Right. We can, right? That happens. Traumatic childhood does that too. And I can also be okay if things don't work out because I know what it feels like. And the thing is, when you live in emotion, you never think the emotion is going to end.
Oh, I know.
And emotions always end. Your bad day could just be a bad day. It doesn't have to be a bad year.
It doesn't mean that the person that caused it is a bad person.
No.
Right? It's like, no, that isn't the way it works.
I can actually not like someone. I have people in my life that are at arm's length because I don't really like them. But I don't appreciate that. I shouldn't say don't like them, but I don't appreciate who they are.
You can say that.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't appreciate who they are and where they come from and what their foundation is. They're in my life because I don't have to spend time with them.
Yeah.
So if I do have to go to a meeting with them, I go, it's an hour. I'll be fine. And then you move on. I don't spend 3 days prior to the meeting and 3 days after in bed.
Oh, I know.
But people do.
I know.
And then they're sitting there watching, organizational shows on Netflix. Like, what do you do? Like, that's the most oxymoronic thing ever in my life.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Did we talk about that once before about why people do that?
Yeah, like you're watching home repair shows and you're living in your parents' fucking basement.
And Jordan Peterson just posted something just so good the other day. It might have been today, actually, that said, if you can't clean up the dysfunction in your own household, how dare you attempt to organize or clean up a nation?
Correct.
That is calling people out and requiring ownership at its highest level.
Well, that's extreme
and it's
ownership.
So true.
Yeah. Well, and don't you know people, like we all have friends, right, who can tell you exactly what to do with your life. And I love it because they're usually crawling out of their dumpster fire trying to tell me how to live my life, you know? And it's shocking. The same thing when people say to you, because I don't drink, so I get this all the time. What do you mean? You don't? I'm like, I don't. And they literally, like, they want some sort of, it's a projection of their own dysfunction. You know, so because you don't care if people have a glass of wine with dinner.
No, I've been drinking Heineken Zero lately.
Right. Like, who cares?
I actually like to be able to have a taste of a beer without any alcohol. I'm like, well, this is actually the best of both worlds.
Absolutely. Because then you're fine. But it's like people are so dysfunctional right now that they can't handle function. They don't like to see that you can hold yourself together. They don't like to see that you actually are doing the work, the big W work. Not just watching videos in your basement about organizational skills. I'm going to tell you people right now, it's not going to work for you. You're not fixing anything.
No.
You know? And I wonder if we go to these people's house who did the organizing. I love this. This brings me joy. This doesn't bring me joy. Their house right now is a dumpster fire.
Oh, I promise.
It's back to a dumpster fire. Because you didn't do the internal work to clean up your shit. It's the most shocking to me.
Well, it's daunting. It really is daunting.
It's not sexy.
No, and I'm being very strategic in my life right now. That would be the best way to put it.
Yeah.
With a young daughter, right, who's very musically gifted and thinking about, okay, what does that look like in a liberal arts situation? Yeah. Right? Like, that's hard.
Yeah.
I said to her, you know, like, well, they're not letting anybody that aren't vaccinated go into camp and stuff at Berkeley. And she was like, well, no shit. Like, of course, that's like what they're doing. It didn't seem to faze her as much as it really kind of lit me up. But I'm being strategic because instead of just like, I'm not resigning myself to this is the way things are, but I'm being realistic about, this is actually the world we're living in. So how do I best position myself and my family in this world?
Yeah.
And then be actively doing my part daily. Like, I'm writing my book. Like, my goal really is, and I think it's going to happen. I feel it in my bones. It really can change lives.
Totally.
A lot of lives.
Totally.
And just doing my part, but not getting sucked into the chaos out there. It's hard.
It's really hard. And you feel like it's that fear of missing out. On some level, you go, I don't have chaos, so I'm just going to be quiet over here.
Well, and
calm
you
over
know
here.
What? It's like you actually, in writing, I have to go back and like when I went away this last weekend to write, which was so awesome.
I know.
But
I love
also
that you
gave
did
myself a writing hangover.
Oh, I'm sure.
I really did. It was like I felt like I had a hangover for 2 days, which worked out great because Sis wanted to stay home with me for those 2 days. So it was like perfect.
Yeah. Awesome.
But it was like I shot a BB off like inside a box and it was just going blah, 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 all over in my head. But in that, I forgot what I was going to tell you about that. Oh, I don't remember what I was going to tell you about it.
That's
about
okay.
About writing. Oh, the chaos.
Chaos.
That I had to go back and read my journal that I was journaling about while I was at treatment because my life is so calm right now. I actually was losing some of my inspiration to write.
Well, sure.
And that may sound crazy, but the reality, it's a perfect example of we are wired for struggle and we need it. That is where all of our lessons are to be learned.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so I had to go back and read some emotional times to go, oh, yes, like I needed to reignite that. So when we want everything to be so perfect and organized and orderly and no struggle, we are depriving ourselves of all of the lessons that are supposed to be learned in our life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, stress is powerful, right? Stress isn't always bad.
No.
We need to have good stress.
Yep.
We need to have, it's selection. It's natural selection, right? If you have stress and you can get through it, awesome.
Your genes are going right along with you.
Exactly.
Right? I know.
If I'm going to hide in the basement because life is hard, then like the bloodline's over. It's over.
Yep.
And, you think about nature is such a great teacher to me. And, lions, they're not going to just sit in the cave their whole life.
No.
Like they got to eat, they got to move, they got to have sex. That's what we're wired for. We're wired for passionate interaction.
Well, and that's the thing that actually gives me hope in all of this. And when I was saying I was being strategic with my life and stuff, the truth ultimately does come out. And I know that sounds so cliche.
No, it does.
But pretending and normalizing dysfunction ultimately won't work because it's not true.
Right.
So I'm getting a lot of gratification right now by we're feeding all these hungry people in Las Vegas every time we sell a meal with QUOTABLES.
Yeah. Awesome.
So people are pretending that girls are boys and boys are girls and that there's 72 genders and
472.
Sorry, I haven't kept up this week,
472.
God. So all of which is fake. It's not real, right? And while that world, that's just one example. I mean, multiply that out times 1,000,000. All of those are lies and it's fake. And I'm just choosing to say, I'm just going to live in reality.
Yeah.
And those of us that are living in reality are going to fucking win in life.
Yeah.
That's just the truth because you can pretend all that shit, but I'm over here feeding real people.
Yep.
I'm really building several businesses. I'm really writing a book.
Yeah.
I'm really doing therapy with my whole entire family. So you can pretend all your shit is happening. It's not real.
Well, it's not your business.
And
either.
10 years from now, those of us that are actually choosing to take personal accountability and responsibility and actually do real things.
Yeah.
It's a separator. And I hate to sound so us against them because that's not helpful, but we're at a point in history where it is going to be the people that are living in a fake world are going to fucking crumble.
Yeah. It's going to be hard because we're not able to, like I've said this before, right? Life makes you wise, but you actually have to step into life to make you wise. If you don't step into life or step into your life or step into your truth, then life's still going to make you wise. It's going to be a lot more painful.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And it's not okay to live in when trauma happens, because it happens to everybody.
Right.
If you're not in your truth, it's going to bowl you over. It's over.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a third party, that's where, to bring that full circle, that's where drawing in a third party, whether it's the government, whether it's the administration at your hospital, whether it's the administrators at your school, whatever the institution you're trying to draw in the third party to solve the problem is not going to work.
Well, they don't have your best interest.
It's going to work temporarily.
Sure.
But that's all going to crumble.
Sure.
And that gives me hope.
Yeah. Well, not everybody can live on food stamps their whole life.
No.
But they were given out like candy.
Yeah, I can't figure out where everybody's working, where everybody's doing that isn't working.
I don't know, but nobody's.
It's hard. No, I know.
I think they're on OnlyFans. I think they're on the porn site, onlyfans.com.
Oh.
You can sell feet on there.
I know, because you posted a picture of your foot. Did you like my comment?
I know.
I was like, someone's totally beating off to
totally,
this picture.
They are. Yeah, to my pedicured toes. But that's what we've come to. Basement dwellers. This is what I think. Basement dwellers who are beaten off to some, 50-year-old foot, right?
They were cute though.
That just got, they're hot.
And you can't, your feet don't really age.
No, they don't. That got a pedicure and you're paying me $50 for it. Like I'm all over it, right? But I'm not smart enough to take the time to figure it out, so I'm not going to do it. So I actually have to
pimp out your
work.
feet.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. But I have students that do.
Really?
Totally. Oh yeah. Or they'll sell. I know a girl.
God, you live in a world I don't live in.
Listen to this. I know a girl who sells her used bath water for $250 a baby food jar. Swear to God. I know a girl.
What is happening?
I know a girl. This is so gross. Turn off if you're easily offended. Just for a moment. Just mute for a moment. I know a girl who wipes her ass with a cotton ball, puts it in a baby food jar, and sells it for $500.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. OnlyFans. So this is why no one's working, because you
can sell a cotton ball with your poop on it.
You can. Yeah. Your own pee, underwear. You can sell anything. And it's like, but we've normalized it.
Talk about normalizing dysfunction.
We've normalized
it. I don't know any of this.
I know. Yeah.
How do you know this?
Because I teach at the college.
Oh, that's why. You're exposed to a whole different population of people than I am.
Yeah. And they're thrilled. Like, to them, it's not weird. It's not weird to sell your pee.
Who's buying it?
The people living in the basement with their mom.
That's gross.
Right. Gross. Yeah.
You just totally schooled me.
Yeah.
I am like
and so
blown away.
That is the level of
Sis is in here too.
I know she is. She's horrified. That's the level of
She has really cute feet too.
Right?
I mean, like crazy. Her feet are like adorable.
They're
we
perfect.
tease her all the time. Her best friend said, I'm going to like pimp out my best friend's feet because I
Totally.
can make some serious money
Cash.
off of them.
Absolutely. But that's the level of dysfunction we're at. That is the height of dysfunction that we're at, where we've normalized, because UPS has no workers. Literally no workers.
Oh, I know.
The police department has no workers. We're in a situation where we're basically 10 minutes away from the purge. You know, where they're going to be like, well, for 24 hours, we have no law enforcement because we don't have any. So do your thing. And people have stopped working. You cannot tell me that people are not capable of working.
No, because they were 2 years ago. Like, I mean.
Correct. And you can make as much money as I make at the college at McDonald's. So you can't tell me that nobody wants to work.
Crazy.
Yeah. So yeah.
I'm glad that you told me that. That's kind of funny.
It's funny, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it grosses me out, but I kind of like gross things too.
Well, to me, it's the epitome of the psyche of America right now.
Yeah, that's really messed up.
That's the part that's sad, you know, is we have no barrier. There's no boundary. You know,
to like the dumpster. It's just like, man.
There's no boundaries anymore. We're all just free, and you know, does it make you feel better and blah, 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 blah. The average rent in Kootenai County where we live is like $2,200 a month.
Oh, I know.
Right?
It's insane.
And there is not one apartment available. So nobody's working. People are now paying $2,200 a month. How are you doing that?
How?
Right.
We can't figure it out either.
OnlyFans.
Wow. We never knew that was a thing. Wait till I tell Casey about that.
Oh, it's a thing.
Yeah, we don't know about it. Bizarre.
Totally bizarre.
We're going to go have dinner
We
soon,
are.
but I have to tell you something
Tell
before
me.
I go.
Oh, I
'cause
can't
didn't
wait.
get to tell you. I broke up with Mark Zuckerberg today.
You did? I'm so proud of you.
I just had to call it off.
Yeah, it's time.
I still have to go get my things from him.
He wasn't very functional.
No, he was. I thought about it. He's like boyfriend.
Yeah.
Telling me what I can and can't say. Telling me I can't leave my house for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Telling me who I should be friends with.
Yeah. Or suggesting.
And who I can talk to and who I can't see. So I deactivated my account. I have to go. I didn't want to just completely delete it because I have to go in because there's like memories that pop up in there.
And you have like
from
pictures.
Like Scarlet, there's because I've switched iPhone so many times and stuff that I have pictures in there from when she was totally a baby that I don't have anywhere. So I've got to go get my things from Mark. Yeah. But I broke up. And
I'm really proud of you.
Yeah. And the thing is, I was being shadow banned anyway. And this is what was the final straw today. And I wasn't on there much anyway. I write on Substack.
Yep.
I engage with people on local. So I wasn't on there actively. I would just pop on, post something, I always look at what you say and
pop off.
The reality is like I wasn't getting any anything from that because everything I share was from Substack. They're not going to promote stuff from Substack and they're not going to promote stuff from locals. And then they don't really put anything when you share from YouTube either.
No.
So I wasn't getting any traction or any business or anything else from that. But today it was a fascinating article about the last 2 years. It's a study over the last 2 years and what this doctor has seen in pregnant women.
Oh, I
complications
saw you. Yes,
from the
I
vaccine.
saw that.
Well, you saw it before it got taken down. It got not only taken down, but then they said that they were suspending my account for 2 days. And the explanation on it was so egregious. It just sent me over the edge. And then I disputed it. And when I disputed it, it popped up and said, we really apologize, but because we're short-staffed, we probably are not going to get to review this post. So they're not short-staffed enough to actually find the post.
Right, which they had to
look for. And it was an article, right? It was an article written by a medical doctor who was saying, look, we're seeing some really crazy stuff in pregnant women and miscarriages and such. We know for a fact that they're uncovering that where this vaccine is ending up is not in your arm. No. It's not, right? And that's a big deal, especially when it was important to me, especially because I've got a 15-year-old daughter that can't go anywhere to study music because she won't fucking get vaccinated. So I have a dog in this fight.
Absolutely.
And it was relevant information. And the fact that I just wanted to share that and they shut it down, I was like, you know what, Mark?
Yeah.
It's over.
It's over. Yeah. It's a very abusive relationship.
Oh, it's horrible. And people, and I've never understood this, people saying like, I'm going to be off of here. And then like, there they are back again. But it's addicting. Well, because my worst days are when I'm on social media too much.
Well, it's a dopamine hit for sure.
It is.
And it can be, it's funny. I put stuff on for teaching and I never look at it again.
Oh, that's good.
So I don't even know. It's sometimes like when it's my birthday, it's kind of fun because you get flooded with birthday stuff, but then you have to respond.
I know. I shut that down because I don't let anybody post or say anything on my page. I shut that down a long time ago because it was just nonstop. And I was like, I don't want you. If you know me well enough to wish me happy birthday, you probably have my phone number.
Correct.
Otherwise, you're just telling me happy birthday, and it's just a dopamine rush, right? It's like, see how many people like me?
Yeah.
But we're all guilty of it, right? I'll wake up in the morning and go, okay, well, who likes me today? But I was like, today is the day.
Today's the day.
It's over.
Yeah. He needs to go. It's like Elon Musk, right? He bought Twitter and then shut it down.
Well,
he took himself off.
And then this is the crazy thing. Now we've got the government coming in and saying, we need to regulate. Yeah, you weren't regulating, or he wouldn't have had to spend $44 billion to try to save free speech here, folks. Like, it's not a debate if you like Elon Musk or not.
No.
It's indisputable what was happening. Yeah. And I'm on Twitter because I love Twitter. Because Twitter, man, you can just fucking have it out with people. You can fight. And I do like to fight. Like, I need that itch scratched every now and then.
Yeah.
So every now and then I do. Plus, the Twitter arguments are usually a little more elevated intelligence than what you find on Facebook. Facebook is just like, Elon Musk could have just given everybody money and solved homelessness. I'm like, oh, okay. Could you explain to me how that would have been implemented?
Well, here's the thing that people don't understand, and I'm sorry to be the one to break it to the world, but when people get to that point of homelessness, they are not getting out of it. They have made the ultimate choice. They literally have made the choice that this is how they're going to live.
Which is why everybody needs to vote that if you're in California, vote for Michael Schellenberger for the governor. Like, he is going to give Gavin Newsom a run for his money. And I actually care a little bit because California is still part of the United States.
Absolutely.
Right? And San Francisco is what he wrote, and then Apocalypse Never. Yeah. And he's a far left guy, right? But he is the guy to save California.
Yeah,
really is. It's going to be a long haul.
Yeah.
But he is the only guy I can even see that has any chance whatsoever of undoing all of the absolute catastrophic damage that has been done there. To humanity, it's just devastating.
If I go to Portland every 6 weeks for acupuncture, and I drive through Homeless Row, which you do on I-5.
I knew that you went to Portland, but I didn't know.
Oh my God. It is, you would be shocked. It's literally 10 miles of I-5. 10. Wow. 10 miles. Any piece of grass, like a roundabout, covered in homelessness.
See, and it's so sad.
Well, to
this
me,
is not like, oh, you're just leaving these people alone. Don't institutionalize them. It's like, it's mental health and drug use. It is not people that are choosing a lifestyle to be homeless. That's not, they're not actively making that choice.
It takes so much to get to the point that you live that way. I cannot mentally explain to people that I get, okay, I lost my apartment. I need to live in my car.
Right.
People generally will get out of that situation. Yep. They have somewhere that they can facilitate, right? And people are going to come at me on this podcast and go, but the single mom can't find any place. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the heroin addicted, given up, lives in filth, homeless person.
Yeah, that person should not just be allowed to stay on the street. That is the most inhumane thing that we could be doing to these people. I think if people haven't read San Francisco, they need to read that or listen to him, Michael Schellenberger. And he's been on Rogan. Yeah. He's been on Jordan Peterson as well.
He talks about how
phenomenal.
You walk down the streets of San Francisco and you're walking through human shit.
Yes.
Because they have to bring a big street sweeper to clean up human shit every morning.
And people forget about like what happens to like the elderly people that live in these downtown areas where now like there's like 32 different Walgreens, or if it's Walgreens or what's the other
Rite Aid or
Rite
something,
Aid have all closed.
They've
so
closed.
Now these people that don't even have cars because they live in downtown San Francisco and are elderly and need prescriptions, they can't even get their prescription because all these stores have closed. That's a whole nother can of worms.
And the store's closed because they will not prosecute anybody for less than $1,200.
I really have hope that he can actually become governor. I think he can win as long as there's no funny business. And I'm not so sure that there won't be.
Yeah.
But I think that he actually has potential to win. And I want to get him on my podcast.
Oh, yeah, you should.
Before he wins, because if he's governor, he's never going to come on my podcast. Not for a long time. Until my podcast gets bigger, right? And I want to have a conversation with that dude because he is fascinating.
Absolutely.
And he's lived an unbelievably awesome life. I just want to talk about his life, too.
Right. Just who he is as a person.
We need more good conversations.
Yes. Like this one.
Yeah. You ready to go out to dinner?
Yes.
Cool.
Let's go have some food.
Yeah. Yay. We have to leave people with the truth.
Absolutely. Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah.
Because she's looking at me. She's looking at me.
Like,
here's the truth.
You're on.
Here's the truth. Get out of the basement. Get outside. If you do nothing else, put your feet on the ground. Barefoot, stand in the grass. And take a moment and be grateful for the fact that you have the ability to stand outside and breathe air. Because there is no level of depression that can't be mitigated a little bit by air and feeling the earth and connecting yourself to something bigger than you.
That's great.
Yeah.
The truth I will leave you with today is no matter how comfortable, content, or happy you think you currently are in your life, you have an infinite level of more that you could achieve.
Absolutely.
Truly. If you would have told me and anyone in my family that we were going to be this much happier 1 year ago, we would have thought it's not even possible. We are learning new levels of joy and peace and fulfillment and happiness in our life that we never even thought. We thought we were already there.
I love that.
And we were far from it. Yeah. So I want to encourage people, no matter how, for the people that are saying, well, I'm functioning pretty good, right? I'm not in my basement, I'm functioning.
Yeah.
Well, I'm calling you out too.
Yeah.
You can be doing more, right? You can be so much happier than you are right now.
Yeah.
Start exploring that.
Oh my God, yes. Yes. Yes.
Let's eat. I've got a headache. I'm starving.
Let's do it. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a great day.